What's up, everybody? It's Kyle with another episode of Unlocking Your Inner Strength. This is episode 268. Got a fun trip planned with Devin. We leave tomorrow. Be back on Sunday for our 10-year anniversary, so this can be the longest we've been away without the kids. Pretty cool. I'm excited. Got all my reading lined up and all that good stuff. Now, last week, I had a dream on, I believe it was Tuesday night. And in that dream, Braxton, for those of you who don't know, Brax is our oldest son. He's 5. Me and him were giving Bigfoot tours over in the Sourlands Mountains, which begin right across the street, like catty corner to us. You're up into the Sourland Mountains, which is a very interesting place. A lot of history there. A lot of cool stuff. But anyway, I was giving tours. People would get in the back of the pickup truck. I would drive through the mountains, kind of point some things out to them. And it was a blast. I remember people were lining up, being like, man, we got to go on one of these tours. I don't know why I had the dream. I do know when we were on vacation, we went to a Bigfoot festival. I love all things Bigfoot and studying this stuff. I got a couple more books in my cart to study coming up on Bigfoot. So why am I telling you this? Why would I even share that with you? Here's the thing. I'm going to keep this episode short, but it's about being your authentic self. It was a brief period of time when I started out down this path, at the time wanting to be the best strength coach in the world, where I would try to emulate other people I saw in the field because it looked like they were having a lot of success. And that didn't last long because it just felt too out of line with who I was and what I was trying to do. And that became a blessing because at that point, I realized no longer do you have to try to fit in with everybody else. Just be your own person. Just be your own person. Because I see a lot of people struggling with, let's say, their authenticity or stepping into their own weirdness. And if you just allow it, it'll happen. Now, picture this, an analogy I just come up with when I was making a couple notes for this. Picture you got the river of life, right? Everything in life is flowing in this one direction. Now picture you get out of the river and you're standing on the shoreline of the river trying to figure out the perfect place to jump in, the perfect spot to dive back into that river. And you can't seem to do it. You put your foot in and you pull it back out. You're not quite sure what's going to be the best spot. That spot looks good. That spot looks good. This spot might be good. And you never really just jump in, as opposed to just being in the river and going with the flow and going with it. And then you have all these parallel lanes, so to speak, that you could hop into depending on what you want to create. But when you basically stop trying to conform to what everybody else is doing, right? Like you're going to do some stuff the same, right? Wear clothes. And I always think that. You might think somebody's out of their mind, but if they're wearing clothes every time they go out, they're not that far different from you. A truly insane person would be walking around naked all over the place. I mean, if you're somebody that didn't want to conform at all. So you have societal norms, but then once you realize that it's not your job to please other people and to be the better version of a clone, right? Because that's what a lot of people are trying to do. They're chasing all the external material stuff and going down these career paths that they're not really passionate about. And there's just always something missing. Always something missing. I can assure you, and Devin would tell you the same thing, and again, I'm trying to teach from things I've learned. You know, the colored glasses, my interest in the paranormal, off-the-wall questions that I ask Devin all the time. That's me as an authentic person, right? And when you don't have to change who you are, right? This is how you can recognize this. And I'm telling you this because life is liberating when you step into your own weirdness. When you don't have to change who you are, no matter who you're around, that's an authentic person. Now just observe people, because you'll see people that are close to you and they'll change who they are depending on the setting. right? They'll change who they are depending on the setting. And I'm not talking about necessarily the energy you bring, right? I might bring different energy to my kids to get on the floor and wrestle with them than I will if I have to give a presentation. But I am not going to ever hide my unique line of thought, just as we all have a unique line of thought, just like your thumbprints, your fingerprints. That is uniquely you. And then you take that and you decide how you're going to build that stack, right? Everybody's got a different stack, which is also like a thumbprint. You might have this interest, this interest, this interest, this interest, this interest, and you're learning all this stuff, kind of molding it together and making connections where other people might have failed to make connections. But I think of my own life, and even the conversations I have with my kids and my brothers, and if I was holding back from things that I'm really, really interested in and not having conversations about those things or asking questions, I would be missing out on a lot of the richness of life. I really would. If I was scared of people, what are people going to think if I do this? What are they going to think if I do that? And it doesn't matter what the other people think, right? It really makes no difference. And that is freedom. When you have that and you kind of march to the beat of your own heart, it's very, very liberating. It's the way everybody's designed to be, I believe. But you just got to have the courage to step out, right? And start studying certain stuff. Start studying. I remember, man, this is probably 10 years ago. I was in a business group, and I talked about an idea for a book I had at the time. And the one guy in charge kind of laughed and like, nobody would buy that, blah, blah, blah. Well, that's kind of my idea for the book is exactly the path my life has taken. You know, I've always been interested in the mind, right? How do you combine that with training people? How do you combine that with owning a gym or whatever else you're doing? And another book I wrote, the same guy saw this other book that I wrote about patellar tendon ruptures. Who's going to buy that? Where's the market for that? Well, it sold hundreds of copies around the world from that day going forward, just because I had a unique passion for that injury because I've went through it at the time once, now twice, and other people could just say, whatever, there's nothing there. But step into whatever the experience is, make it your own. Don't hold back, right? Life is boring if everything's just vanilla. If everybody's just a little lemming that's trying to fit in, life is pretty boring. When you see that colorful figure, when you see that, you got the line of lemmings, and then you picture you got this like big, colorful creature that doesn't really, it's not like any creature you've ever seen before. Maybe it's a combination of an elephant and a shark or whatever it is, but it's laughing, it's having fun. That's really your spirit, right? That's really how you can just embrace life to the fullest. And I'm just urging you to start thinking like that, because I can tell you again, I have had some fascinating conversations with people just because I ask questions that don't fit the norm, right? And then people know it's okay to talk to me about that stuff. They might have questions, but man, if I'm going to ask somebody this question, they might think I'm insane. Right, like a lot of people think I'm joking when I talk about my passion for studying Sasquatch and Bigfoot, but I'm not. That's just who I am. I've always been interested in that path and cryptozoology and the paranormal ever since I was a little kid. This stuff has fascinated me, and just that's something I wish everybody would really step into. And if it's something you've been dabbling with, and doesn't matter what it is. If your mind is telling you got to investigate it, well, learn about it, talk about it, teach it. You never know where it's going to go. You never know where it's going to go. I mean, some of the people that I read and listen to are for the mainstream. They would be, you consider them insane, but I find them entertaining and I learn something. So don't judge a book by its cover. Right? Don't judge a book by its cover. And that's another thing. Your outer manifestation, it's just really an avatar right? But if you want to do something like wear weird colored glasses and it feels good to you, then do it, right? Do it. And without judging the book by its cover, you know, if you're the person that does that, you're gonna miss out on a lot of interesting people. So keep that in mind and start being your own unique self. Remember, we're all weird. Once you embrace that, you just go with the flow of life, right? People you're supposed to meet and talk to, they'll find you. All right, that's what I got for episode 268. Don't forget to go to kylenewell.com/manual. Get the free fasting manual that's updated with mind map principles that I have for you there. Just put your name on the thing. You'll get sent the ebook, and you'll get my daily emails from kylenewell.com. And you might already get them from newellstrength.com. You can also get on that email list. All right, guys, peace. Thanks, Mike.